I don't know. It might be our guy right there, up on the hill here. About to drive up and look. It's so funny, I lock my bike up and I leave the key in the fucking thing all the time. In the lock. I don't know. It don't really look like it. I didn't grab the plate number off it. He looks undercover. Undercover vehicle. Let's just go see what's in. No, no tinted side fronts, right? The wheels are not the same either. Let's see how they look. No, not tinted, not tinted dark enough. There's another one up the way a little bit too. I'm scouting around, I'm looking in the lower lot, looking across the street lot, looking in the back of the building lot. I don't see them. Let's go back to this. Yeah, that's not him. Waiting now to see if he switched off with someone. So what I'll do is I'll go in and out of the woods a couple times, see if I can draw someone else out. I mean, that is pretty typical when they know they were spotted. When he went and parked down the side, on that side street there in the last video, he didn't get out of his car. There was no reason for him to pull over there. He's just cruising along. All of a sudden he pulls over right out of my view. And then he sees me coming up this road. I stop my bike to adjust the camera. And then he starts turning around and coming back at me. Because I'm not sure there was any way out of that street either. I don't remember. Other than bike trails and shit like that, I don't know if there's any other way out of there. Let me see if this is him. No, it's not him either. I don't think so, anyway. If he doesn't get out of his car, I'll go down and look, but... No, I don't. That's not the same vehicle, but it might be one of my guys. We'll see. Okay. No, I can see through the window, so it's not him. His windows were dark all the way around. Even the windshield was tinted. How no one can see it after all this time, it's amazing. It is so amazing. You show it to them and they just refuse to look. It's so fucking weird, man. You know, it's Twilight Zone type shit. It really is. And then they'll tell you that it's the other way around. That I'm the one that's fucking Twilight Zone. They try to convince you that you're the one that has lost your sanity, and they're all normal. You know, it's fucked up. It is really fucked up. And no one will look for themselves. They will not go look. You know, I've been debating lately on whether or not I'm going to go for. I started that channel on Rumble now. It's called Right to Reality. All one spelling, no breaks in it, right? I'm pretty sure that's the way I did it. Right, R-I-G-H-T, to T-O, Reality, R-E-A-L-I-T-Y. And that channel there, I'm thinking about making into an entertainment channel or something. I'm not getting through to anybody, you know? Doing it the way that I've been doing it. My idea was that there's not really anything special about us other than us not admitting the true system. That's probably the only thing I can see that's so special about us over feline, canine, rodent, ape, and beast. As far as the human goes, you know, we have what we call intelligence, but it's not intelligence. I mean, it is in the human respect to what humans consider intelligent, but that just really means that you have a brain memory capsule to memorize all the lies, and you will believe all the lies. but rather the other animals, the other creatures that I'm talking about, the feline, canine, rodent, ape, and beast, uh, they won't go along with anything. You have to force them and enslave them, very similar to the way humans enslave ourselves, but but they don't really ever go for it, you know. That's why there's so few of them compared to humans now. All the ape families, the gorillas, the chimps, the all monkeys and apes and all the dogs, all the canine and everything, you know. It's fucked up. Very fucked up. So, so anyway, it's pretty incredible to keep watching this as time goes by, seeing it, showing it to everyone that you meet over the years. The years have just clicked by, and it seems like it's gotten nowhere. The idea is, my idea, anyways, I thought was my idea. Show everyone the system, because if you try to explain what it is, then that's going to hurt my case and it's going to hurt my situation. In other words, everyone thinks that they're living their lives according to reality, the solid mass reality that is all around us. And they consider that, because it's a solid mass reality, that is the reality. And all the other things about God is mythology. And if it's about outer space, it's space alien fiction type of thing and that kind of thing. Except for when it comes to the heliocentric model. So you can have your gods and you can have your space aliens. They're never going to be solid mass reality to you, you know. No matter what happens, that will never come to play, because everything that you know about God and about outer space is false. So if that's and it is, you can see this for yourself by looking at the true system. What we call God and what we refer to is all lies, yet there is higher powers that are above us, that we just won't even look at. We just won't even look at them. We don't look at their work. We don't admire their work. No, we look at the solid mass prospect of the trees, the solid mass prospect of even the clouds, of the hills, the mountainsides, the waters, whatever. We look at the solid mass aspect of it, not the builders all around it that are building each of those things. That's what we should be looking at. Yeah, so I'm thinking about doing that. If I turn that into an entertainment channel and try to be more entertaining, maybe I'll get somewhere with it. I'd hate to do it. I've been against it for the last 6 years, since going on 6 years now, I guess. But I don't know. I'm out of ideas. I mean, I just figured let everybody see it for themselves. And this way, whatever I explain to them, I mean, I have to explain some things. I have to explain some shit just so you don't panic or freak out or um, think yourself that anybody that might come along that might be a real person might be afraid, you know, of what it is I'm talking about and showing them. So by seeing it first before you have a chance to get afraid, I think that's a big thing. See it first, because you're already seeing it anyway. Your subconscious soaks it all up. Um, I'll just mention what I'm talking about is the digital collection of electromagnetic nanocarbon, which if you go and look at this and see and collect the nanocarbon from everywhere all around you, then what you see it's feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast is what the builders build. You can see the triangular builders. You can see all this for ourselves. Um, so you don't need to believe anybody's bullshit stories anymore. In other words, um, so that becomes a big thing, and then you can separate everything. Then you're able to start separating and seeing the true creator's work, and then you're able to separate it from the false creator's works. The false creator slash creator, I refer to him as. And you can separate their work. You can see where math comes in. You can see where the true creator does not base anything on any math or geometry or anything like that. The true creator's build is all one. And it doesn't stop because it goes down to the pavement that humans laid. It doesn't come down from the clouds and into the trees and then stop because the pavement has human influence. It doesn't stop there. You'll still see the true creator's work in everything because this is the true creator system after all. And the false creator slash creator, our creator of the biosystem, has has created his own little invention, and it's called the biosystem. And humans have stole that work and fucked it all up and enslaved everyone on the earth, calling it a spinning wet pear rocket ball, and everybody has to go along with it. Otherwise, you have to go to an insane asylum, all right? Or they tell you that you have to believe that in one of these things, you have to either believe that the Earth is flat. Well, that's kind of stupid and that's ridiculous, and that's not the claim that I'm ever making. But yet, that's what they always put down from Encyclopedia Britannica whenever I talk about pretty much anything. And they put down Encyclopedia Britannica talks about the flat Earth movement and all this kind of shit, which is a bunch of bullshit. Just like when I'm showing you the mineral streets, they start telling you, they put on Encyclopedia Britannica and say that contrails, condensation trails is what I'm showing you, and all this kind of stuff, trying to get me to defend myself with the word chemtrails. And I don't, because I don't call them any of those things. They're not any of those things. I know what condensation trails look like. And I know that chemtrails is a PSYOP terminology that the same agents that are following me around everywhere put into play. You know? I mean, they're fucking with me real bad right now. Um, and it does blow, but I got to deal with it. What am I going to do? All I can do is try tracking them as hard as they're tracking me and fuck around that way and try to have some fun with the whole thing. Um, but they're going to do that no matter what. They're going to do it in every aspect of our lives. The agents are in every aspect of our lives. It's really, really bad. And what sucks too is, as I've been learning over the last 6 years, it's always been this way. It's been like this for thousands of years. Um, the technology that we call technology has actually made us all as human beings dumber. We've lost our connection with the true creator, the false creator slash creator. We're losing our connection with each other. And it's all purposeful, as human beings. And they've been running this shit for a couple thousand years. At least since they took out the ancient Egyptians, it's been this way. And before that, I'm guessing that the ancient Egyptians were doing it right for quite a long time. And we came along, and I'm not going to break it down to a racial thing or anything like that, but color does have a lot to do with it. The colors are all being used, the carbons that I'm talking about. The builders use all these colors for particular uses. And I'm assuming, again, just an assumption, because everything else works that way, whether it's the trees, the waters, the skies, everything is based on these colors. And how the heavy metals and minerals are pushed and pulled into place by the electromagnetic nanocarbon system that we live in. The true creators, builders, build everything in here, and they use this electromagnetic current as their energy to build everything. They are the energy that is the energy that builds everything. And they take their orders, no matter where they are, whether they're on the North Pole, the South Pole, I was talking to some people the other day about some of the spinning web pair rocket nonsense and stuff like that. And it sucks because when you look at how dumbed down we were about the heliocentric model being so ridiculous, because it really is so ridiculous. When you really look at it, it's so fucking ridiculous. So some of the things that are just so flabbergastingly stupid about it, I'll tell you, it's just really, there we go. There it is. I think that dude was over there for smoking a joint or something. Somebody was snuck out on me. Alright, so one of the ones that I think is really fucked up. Okay, we were talking about the spin, the 1100 mile an hour spin, okay? And then you talk about centrifugal force throwing the waters that are on the Earth's surface off of the Earth at spinning at 1100 miles an hour, and why that doesn't happen. And then they pull in centripetal force, which means that you're spinning so fast that it's actually pulling the waters back in. And supposedly those two things working together equal the reason for gravity, which is not the case. The electromagnetic current in the system is how gravity gets its job. Some other people. But think about the North Pole and the South Pole. Where are they getting their centrifugal and centripetal force, right? If they're not going to be spinning at them speeds, right? Because they're not even going to barely be spinning at all, especially when you go to the total north and the total south. All right, I'm going to lose my filter now. There's a lot of people walking around, so I don't want to scare anybody when I'm talking about. And just do this. And that's just one thing about the heliocentric model. I mean, there's so many hundreds of different things that's such bullshit. And when you think that they really didn't have anyone really that totally convinced until they had video and television to do it with. Because when they were just relying on people's reading, reading the books to be convinced of such nonsense, it wasn't going to be enough. For their governments to tell them that that's just the way it is, that wasn't even going to be enough. That's why it took them so long to change everybody's mind on it all and get us believing. And it's not that anyone ever thought the Earth was flat, because that's just not true. No one ever thought the Earth was flat. That just came about as a CIA psyop in the last couple hundred years. since the, not even a couple hundred years, since the probably late 1800s or some shit, when they thought of throwing it in the textbooks here and there. People were so stupid. They thought the water fell off the edge of the earth. And now, I would imagine that at some point, thousands of years ago, everyone knew exactly how it worked. The way that I'm trying to show you that it works. And what the system actually is. And people just knew what it all was. Now, it's only a scattered. How many others are out there that are trying to show anybody the same thing I'm trying to show you? There might be a couple hundred around the earth. They might not have access to videos, to do video formats and shit like that. They might not have the balls to do it because everybody will call them nuts. And then they also may not have the balls to do it because, as you can see, the psyops behind it all. The psyops behind it all really fucking blow. You gotta do with people following you around, following your family, and they're gonna make up fucking stories and base it on some other bullshit laws that they put into play, which is all part of the same fucking problem. Enslaving the people, enslaving them all over the earth. They're doing this. Capitalism is no different than communism, is no different than socialism. Is no, they all suck. They're all bad ideas, so stop choosing from them. You know, unless you're going to believe in their God, unless you're going to believe in their space aliens, unless you're going to believe in their shit, then you're thrown out of society, you know? So when you look at the education system, after you see the system, and you look at the education system all over this earth, the entire earth over, you look at it all, whether it's medical science, literature science, you see the propaganda everywhere, and it was all propaganda. Bringing in the zeros, and it's zeros and infinity. How fucked up is that? You know, the more and more I confirm that as I'm getting older, as the years are clicking by, it's not a theory. It's not a fucking theory. We can see it for ourselves. There's no such thing as zeros other than the human concept, other than the human mind. There's not the true creator, the false creator, the creator. No, none of the other animals or creatures, none of them understand, care about, or foresee zeros. It was fucking stupid. It was a stupid idea. And we fucked ourselves with it. And it sounds so crazy to say such a thing. And people hear that and they're like, oh boy. But it's true. I don't even fucking second guess it anymore. Because I can see it all. It's fucked up. All my videos, I'm always saying that. It's so fucked up. It is, too. It is. So I gotta play the fucking game with these guys chasing me down, following me around, following my family. I have to be concerned and worried all the time. I cannot act concerned and worried because I can't act conspiratorial, crazy nut job fucking type, because I'm sure that's part of their idea too. Make this guy out to be a lunatic and we can take him out that way, you know. So I have to be careful on every fucking front, every which way. I have to be careful not to give them anything to work with, put it that way. And that's hard to live your life that way. Especially when you were born and raised believing all the bullshit stories, believing that we had freedom, believing that you had freedom of choice to do anything. And then it turns out, actually, nah, it was all programming. You're either going to get this program or that program. We'll decide what programs you get based on what family you're born into, and that's pretty much boils down to that. The families have been going on and on for thousands of years. Sometimes maybe it may be true that somebody maybe breaks rank once in a while and makes it to what they consider and call the top. But how many people do you have to fuck over? How many hundreds of thousands of lives do you have to take in order to do that? So if you're going to do that, then you definitely do not possess a mirror neuron. Otherwise, you'd be more suicides if that was the case. Those people like Fauci, I'll say his name maybe, or a few other ones. There's so many of them, like just giving an example. But after what Fauci just did, him and all his people over the last few years, really the last 40 years, really, but just over the last few years especially is more notable of all the bad things that he did. They were all responsible for all those deaths of the COVID shit, and they still are, and they're still pushing the vaxxers, and everybody should be able to see by now what's going on. But nope, the zombies, they all keep going along with it. So in other words, he'll go down in history, his name will be in history, his family will go on to be famous one day. We know all the children and offspring and everything. They'll all have money, chances for fame, and all that kind of shit. All based on lies. All based on bullshit. But yet, our great-great-grandkids, when they're looking at the computer and their brains are being programmed through a computer rather than books, because I'm sure that's what it'll be. It'll be 5G direct connection to the brain, which they already do that. It was called the God sound. They had a God sound weapon. They used it in Iraq, and they made it out to be a conspiracy theory, of course, and everything like that. But when you go back and if you can find those videos, those guys were telling their story about how God was telling them to kill their own men in the battlefield. And not Allah, but God came to them and said, go kill your people. And then, you can relate that to maybe not hearing a direct voice, but a sound system, a series of beeps and rings and tones that would tell you the same thing, not using words. And how many of us get all that on a daily basis? Alright, right there. Yeah, it looks good. 20 minutes.